All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for watching. We're gathering today for Rapyd U office hours. I'll go over to the next slide just to cover some things that we'll be going over today. First, I'll give just an overview and talk about a use case. We'll be talking about payroll today and really what that looks like to use Rapyd to build on the API and start building for your clients or for your fintech. We'll look at some documentation really quick, and then we'll complete a request signature in Python and create a checkout page. We may just create it in a couple ways using, of course, Python, and I'll be working in VS Code and the terminal in there. I'm gonna head over to the next slide and just open up and talk about this idea of how every business accepts payments. And of course, every business provides a service or product and exchanges that for a payment that it accepts, and it could be from different payment methods, whether it's cash, card, bank accounts, and even e-wallets and now just new emerging ways to move money. And so we'll take a look at that as each business accepts payments. Really, we look at the different ways they can do that. It could be through an application, a website, any platform that is built in, could be offline. And what countries would that business would be accepting those payments in and doing business in? Of course, who would be using these payment methods and what are their preferred local payment methods that they make these payments in for every business? Well, these options matter, and these options for customers can be avenues to accept revenue, to accept payments basically from your customer base. And so we'll take a look at what this looks like for payroll in the industry of payroll. Of course, a company would accept payments, and then how would they really distribute payouts or payments to their customer or to their employees, to also could be vendors as well. And so if we kind of replace these things in this next slide, of course, they collect funds in whatever business they or service they are providing, and then they can pre-fund accounts designated to certain employees to go out. And of course, from those accounts, they would disperse funds or pay out these funds. Let's just say they could be paying out to different working professionals in 10 to 15 different countries. Of course, Rapyd has hundreds of countries in which it can accept and disperse payments. But of course, these could be, let's say, local bank accounts that they would accept and move funds. It could be global SWIFT that it is accepting payments and sending payments cross-border. You could also send out payments to a card and fill expense a card, but also use virtual accounts built on top of Rapyd wallets. And so all of this can be so complicated. We'll talk a little bit about just the network in a little bit, but of course with Rapyd, this uses one integration for all these options to build into your platform. And so we look at just the history of how did we get here. And of course, we had payments offline before the internet. And then as the internet came on, people began to trust the internet, trust websites, and trust the internet payments. And then payments started to move towards the cloud. And of course, mobile payments and the mobility of payments started to arise. And then now we see Rapyd as just representing one integration for wherever the evolution of fintech will move towards, the evolution of mobility. And so that's the beauty of being able to integrate with a fintech API, where you have one integration, and wherever the evolution move towards wherever it may go with fintech, at least you have that integration, are able to just build on top of that and not worry about all the different integrations that you would need for different networks, different countries. It's really all built on one. And by the way, just wanted to welcome everyone joining our stream. Yeah, welcome, I believe, Braba. Yeah, good to have you here. Feel free to ask any questions and just type in chat. We'll be sure to have a FAQ or just Q&A at the end. But just wanted to open up and talk a little bit more of course, what does this integration all include? This one integration with Rapyd. Well, of course, there's collect, where you would receive funds from customers, this idea of every business accepting payments for a service or a product. You absolutely need to collect those funds. But then we talked a little bit about payroll and having to disperse towards employees, to vendors, to even paying off any type of bill. We have Rapyd Wallet, where you can have those pre-fund accounts that you would hold funds for specific team members, and then also designated to maybe different clients that you have, maybe vendors. Those funds would go in there. We have Rapyd issuing for cards, and certainly virtual accounts as well. And then we have just all these different microservices that are a part of Rapyd that are super important. Of course, FX built-in compliance services, account reconciliation, and identity verification. We have just listed here all the different global payment categories, which could have hundreds and thousands of different payment methods. This is all really you, as you join Rapyd, you are part of a global developer community, over 50,000 developers. And lastly, before, I wanted to mention we do have our open API spec available in Postman. And so you can find that in Postman. You can search up Rapyd Dev or just go on community and find, we've been posting a lot about that. I'll also post in our Discord community as well. And so as I move on, here is a diagram of just kind of a visual of what it looks like as a network of different services for payments. And so, of course, every country may have different local banks, different compliance law, different preferred payment methods, uh, different FX rates, and of course, different payment gateways that you would have to integrate on your own if you're building this. But with Rapyd, you as the developer can bring this all in together with one integration. And also welcome everyone, welcome up for joining, and everyone watching on replay as well. I'll head over to the next slide. And so what this looks like is now as you build for a company or build for a client that you may have, build your own fintech, you have access to all these different services that have been now put together, and including payment methods, including the compliance on the back end. And so now you can offer this to others, repackage this, and so others can build on your platform or use your platform, across the globe. This is just an encouragement to get started. If you haven't yet, start to test around and play around with different payment methods. Start building and working in Sandbox. You're grabbing your API keys. And of course, as you have questions on your journey, you can join our Rapyd developer community and ask questions, collaborate with all the other developers, as well as Rapyd team members. And so I just wanted to grab a real company that is doing this, and they're Lano. They are a global workforce management service or platform. And of course, basically they help with HR, any type of uh, uh, services around that that would use their software. And so a quote by I may be uh, ruining the name, but Natalia Zarusk. Um, and she says, with Rapyd, Lano is able to offer around 50 new currencies and 75 local payment methods. So they were able to add these currencies, offering for different countries. Of course, if they're global, they're working with as many countries and currencies as they can. And within each country are specific payment methods. They can have multiple that different people prefer. Um, as well. And so she is the head of payments at Lano. Here are just a snapshot of different Rapyd developer community resources. Of course, a part of these resources we are providing for you. You get a say in it. You get to shape. So many of our uh, developers have helped with our GitHub repos, as well as just kind of testing around in Postman, and being able to create content in our developer community forum. Also here in Discord, there are online events and meetups that we have around the world, going to conferences and scheduling meetups. And so, yeah, this is uh, just a quick snapshot of all the resources to help you as a developer. Um, and so just wanted to show just a simple uh, kind of also snapshot of what it looked like to get started with Rapyd. Of course, there are hundreds of microservices on the back end, but really it started as um, just a payments platform, really simple, built on AWS with MongoDB and MySQL. React in the front end, and then using Node.js on all the back end. And so I'll go ahead and move over and just take a quick look at Rapyd documentation, and yeah, move towards our request signature in Python. I'm going to just be creating a checkout page for today. And so this is the create checkout page call that we'll be doing. Here's the endpoint here. And we look at some of the parameters. Really, the only required are, um, the amount, I believe the currency as well, but also the URLs that are required to uh, really uh, redirect to, and as you would uh, complete or create an error for the payment. Here is the country as well. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see the code samples. We're just going to grab that, and I'm going to do actually a bit of a simplified one, not uh, not including expiration and some of the payment methods, but we're going to be working in either Great Britain and the pounds or euros. And so if I head over to our utilities file, you can find this in also our make your first API call page in our documentation. You can go under get started and make your first API call. You can copy and save this in Python file, or go to the request signatures page. You'll also find other code samples as well in here. Um, and so you'll see the secret key and access key. Be sure to really never expose or transmit these keys by themselves. But just for the sake of the demo, I'm going to go ahead and go to our client portal. Once you open up account, you'll just see this. You'll want to, of course, flip the switch here to grab your developer keys, and you can save that and just, yeah, paste it in. And here's the secret key here. And so that's just kind of what it looks like. And what I'll do now is actually start to create my environment. We'll also take a look at here. This is the example that we'll be doing. As you can see, really simplified. Here is actually one um, currency in euros, but then also I have one for British pounds. And so I'll just open up, and I should be in the right folder. Let me clear that. Um, yep. And so I'll just want to create my environment. So I'll go ahead and do that. Uh, make sure that's created. Um, and then I'll do install, make sure that the request is installed. You can find that um, right here as well. So as that is already installed, now what I want to do is create my checkout page. So I can do Python 3 checkout page, and we'll just go with this first one. And so the response, the full response should show up. Here is the country, the currency, and then the checkout page ID. If we ever want to retrieve that again, this would be the ID for that. Here is some of the other info. It does have a page expiration as well. And so if a payment is not made within a certain time, then the payment will expire. But yeah, let me go ahead and just open that up. And so here we could see that we have a card option for that, as well as a bank. We could have bank options for payment. We could pay by bank, and I'll just put in um, just a, yeah, of course, a fake name and a test email. And so here would be, of course, the user would redirect and log into their bank as a simulation. And so we now see the payment is completed. Um, and so when we click finish, and now here is an example, just URL in which it would show you would either redirect to or forward to as it is complete. Let's take a look at some of the actually webhooks. I'll go ahead and copy this. So I believe this should be our payment that has gone through. This is just a test webhook site. And if I grab this payment ID, I believe, and now it just shows payment completed. There's the 100 amount. Uh, and I can go ahead and go over to retrieve payment, and I'm just doing, it's a bit of a manual process with this, but of course you could create some variables for this. But if I go ahead and paste that in there, Python 3, retrieve payment. And so now we see the payment here is closed, in which before the status should have been active. If we look at we can look at the payment. So yeah, here's the status active, and now we see here it's closed. And so that's kind of what it looks like. We can actually do one more and do euros. And so that we can open up again. Of course, again, card or bank account. And so here's actually a SEPA that you could do. And so why would you do bank accounts? Well, of course, there's multiple options that you could provide for your customer to pay. If you are using bank account, likely you're not going to lose fees to the card companies as the merchant, and you'd be able to actually take some and maybe charge some for your own, or for if you're doing a subscriptions payment or something like memberships, bank accounts are absolutely um, could be useful and beneficial for a customer who, again, doesn't want that added credit card fees. If that's something that's going to be charged to the customer, paying bills, absolutely, or any types of fees are nice for banks with bank account as well. And so we'll just go ahead and fill this with some test information. Let's say it's from the UK, and yeah, again, just this is all in Sandbox. So we are making a SEPA payment, and again, it's going to give just test information for your IBAN and one-time password. We can probably see that this has gone through. Um, and so, yeah, this is a bank redirect. And then I'll go ahead and submit that. And then so we see it's gone through. And then we'll take a look at the other webhook. And so we see, yeah, payment succeeded as well. Of course, there are other steps to set up a payment, but this is simulating a successful payment as well. So awesome. Well, that's a little bit of what it looks like to uh, run through and create a checkout page. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, or you can open up a topic in community.rapyd um, uh, .net. We'd love to hear more. But here, yeah, here's a little bit more on the utilities file, which generates all the headers for you. It's nice to, yeah, just copy and paste that in and just input your credentials, of course. But yeah, and so yeah, just that's a little bit of what it looks like. Um, just wanted to open it up to anyone. If you had any questions, any thoughts, anything you'd like to see, I think one example next time we could do is what it looks like to create a hosted subscriptions page, not just a one-time payment like we did here. Uh, but again, thanks everyone for joining. Feel free to chat in or even just unmute if you had any questions, any thoughts, yeah, anything you'd like to see in the future. Um, can I ask where are you guys coming in from? What country? From Poland. Nice. Well, welcome. And you guys use euros in Poland? Is that correct? Okay, you have something called Zloty. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I could find that for myself. Let me see if I can find that here. So, um, oh, okay, yeah, I know it has. Euros here. Okay, Polish zloty. I got it. All right, nice. PLN. Let me try and do a checkout page with that. Let's see. And then where did that go? PL. All right. Now let's try and clear this. Okay, cool. Yeah, we have uh, the Polish zloty. It is, yeah. Awesome. We can do card or bank. Now let's see what bank looks like. Um, of course, yeah, you log in. Awesome. And then it's completed. Cool. So you could integrate that and use euros or the Polish zloty. Uh, that's cool. Nice. And then where's the webhook? Okay. I don't know why that switched. And so, yeah, we see that now the payment is closed. Here's the amount. Um, I can grab it and let me just retrieve it. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, it's closed. Um, PLN, country code PL. Awesome. Uh, well, yeah, thanks for sharing. Up, that's it's cool to see, uh, and it's cool to have you here. Um, yeah. Uh, so we did a checkout page in British pounds, in euros, and then also Polish zloty. Really cool. Love playing around with this. And so, yeah, if you are playing around or watching this, let us know what currency and country that you're working in and creating your checkout page. I would love to see more as well and just hear what you're building as well. Cool. So, really cool to have up here and kind of working together and creating something new. Awesome. Are there also Latin American currencies available? Yes, of course. Yeah, there's actually a lot of business done in Latin America. Um, Two of the biggest countries are uh, Mexican pesos and then Brazilian real, um, and then a lot of other countries. You can find actually our um, the list of payment methods. um, if you go Actually, we could check out in the client portal, go to settings, payment methods. You can find it by region. So if we go to Americas, you can find just like all the different countries that are available here. This is, of course, just card. We have Ecuador, Colombia, um, and then a lot by bank. Uh, Chile, uh, there's more Colombia, there's a lot. Costa Rica, Peru, Uruguay. There's actually quite a few cash, since cash is actually used. Dominican Republic, Guatemala, there's Panama, Uruguay. Yep, El Salvador. Um, and then you can also find it by specific if you're looking for a specific country as well. So, and this is all using the Rapyd API. So you can also list this out as well. Great question, and thanks for chiming in. Up, um, this has been good. Awesome. Well, if no other questions, we'd love to help you and assist you in any way, whatever you're building, whatever you're working through. Love to hear what questions you may have and what your thoughts are. And so that as we are coming down, wrapping up, thanks for watching. Yeah, and join in for our Rapyd office hours and walking through a little bit about Rapyd, about a use case, about payroll, and as we just walk through creating a checkout page as well. So thanks again. Hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful day. Great rest of your week.